Hi everybody! Today we're going to be doing a seated pelvic floor strengthening and core exercise routine. It's important to remember your precautions whenever you're doing exercises. If you have hip precautions, you don't want to bend past 90 degrees like you're touching your toes or marching. You also don't want to point your toes inwards or outwards, and you don't want to bring your legs together or separate them. If you have spinal precautions, you don't want to bend down to the ground or do seated marches as well, and you want to avoid twisting your spine. If you have sternal precautions, you don't want to reach over your head, behind your back, or across your body, and you want to avoid twisting your upper body. For each exercise, look at the screen for an icon to see if you can participate in the exercise or if it breaks your precaution. Having good posture is important for keeping your pelvic floor healthy, so we're going to start with a few exercises that focus on your posture and loosening up your body. First, we're going to do arm circles, forward and backwards. When you're doing these exercises, you want to sit up nice and tall, and you want to make sure that your shoulders aren't up by your ears like this. You want them to be down, and your shoulder blades should be slightly backwards. Tighten your core so you're not moving all around and your arms are the only thing that's moving. All right, let's go forwards. Very nice. Now 10 backwards. Nice job. Take a break and shake everything out. Next, we're going to do shoulder blade squeezes. So place your fingertips on the sides of your head and start with your elbows slightly forward. Now press your elbows back gently as far as you can. You want to make sure that you're not pushing your head down, and you want to keep your posture nice and tall. Keep your shoulders dropped and make sure they're not up by your ears. This exercise helps to strengthen the muscles between your shoulder blades. All right, let's do 10 squeezes. Make sure you're breathing. And check your posture throughout. Make sure your shoulder blades aren't coming up by your ears. Next, we're going to do heart circles. Look at the screen for your precautions. This exercise is focusing on our back muscles and our ribs, and it helps with our hip mobility, breathing, posture, and pain. Place your hands on your knees and keep your bottom touching the chair. Just focus on moving your hips and circling your heart. We're going to go forward, to the side, backwards, then to the other side. We're going to start going clockwise first. Remember, don't lift up your bottom from the chair and don't forget to breathe. Now let's go counterclockwise. Very nice job. Now relax. Next, we're going to do some deep breathing. Everyone can participate in this exercise. This is going to help relax our pelvic floors before we do some strengthening exercises. So place one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach. You don't want the hand on your chest to move as you're breathing. The hand on your belly should move as you inhale through your nose and your belly fills with air. Then your belly should deflate as you slowly exhale through pursed lips and push the air out. Take a deep breath in and watch your belly fill with air. Hold it for a second and then slowly breathe out. And watch as your belly deflates. Breathe in. Make sure the hand on your chest isn't rising. Hold it for a second and slowly breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Before doing Kegels or any other strengthening exercises for your pelvic floor, it's important to do deep breathing like we just did, or other relaxation techniques to avoid causing problems for your pelvic floor. So remember to always lengthen your pelvic floor before you strengthen it. Let's quickly check our posture again. Imagine you have a ponytail on the top of your head and someone is pulling on it, lifting you upwards. This is the best posture we can be in to avoid injury and support the pelvic floor during strengthening exercises. This posture allows for us to have a natural curve in our lower backs, and it makes it so we're not hunched forward or leaning backwards. Remember to keep this ponytail posture for the next few exercises. Next, we're going to do pelvic floor activations, commonly called Kegels. These pelvic floor activations should be safe for most people. However, don't do these exercises if you're experiencing pain or you've been told by your doctor to not do Kegels. To start, we need to find the pelvic floor muscles. Start by totally relaxing the muscles in your belly, your glutes, and your legs. Now, think about the muscles you would use if you were trying to stop the flow of urine or the passage of gas. We want to gently squeeze and lift those muscles towards our heads. You can place one hand on your lower belly, and you should feel a slight pull inwards as you do the exercise. But remember, it should be a gentle pull and your stomach should barely move. You don't want to suck it in. The activation is like a gentle in and up motion. Make sure you're breathing and don't hold your breath during these. Now fully relax your pelvic floor and continue to breathe. If you're having a hard time finding the pelvic floor muscles and you don't have hip precautions or other precautions where you're not supposed to bring your knees together, you can try to put a fist in between your knees and gently squeeze your knees together as you try to contract your pelvic floor muscles. This can help you identify your pelvic floor muscles. Now that we've found the right muscles and know how to do the movement, we're going to activate the pelvic floor muscles for a couple of seconds, hold it, and then fully release. After contracting your pelvic floor muscles, you want to release the muscles and let them relax for the same amount of time that you were squeezing them. If we don't do this, it can cause problems with the pelvic floor and lead to problems like tight muscles. So remember, lengthen before you strengthen your muscles and also after you strengthen. Gently lift and squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. Hold it and breathe. And then fully release. Gently lift and squeeze. Hold. And fully release. We'll do one more. Lift, hold it. Make sure you're breathing. And release. Now we're going to do the same thing we just did, but we're going to do it faster. In the last exercise, we contracted the pelvic floor muscles for 10 seconds and then relaxed for 10 seconds. This time, we're going to contract for 1 to 2 seconds and then relax for 1 to 2 seconds. Both of these exercises target different parts of our pelvic floor muscles, so we want to make sure we do both of them, the slow ones and the fast ones. Fully relax your pelvic floor muscles, your belly, your legs, and your glutes, and don't forget to keep breathing when we're doing these. Let's take a deep breath and squeeze, relax, 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 squeeze, relax. Let's do 2 more. Squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax. All right, good job. Now fully relax your pelvic floor muscles. Now we're gonna add in some toe taps while we squeeze our pelvic floor muscles. Again, before we start, make sure to check the screen for your precautions. And remember to think of someone pulling a ponytail on the top of your head for good posture. First, we want to gently squeeze and lift the pelvic floor muscles and hold it. Now start to slowly lift one foot about a few inches off of the ground and then slowly lower your foot down. Keep your pelvic floor muscles tight and contracted the whole time and make sure you keep breathing. Now lift the other foot. Make sure you keep breathing and keep those muscles tight. All right, great job. Fully relax. For this last exercise, we're gonna do pelvic tilts. Check the screen for your precautions and make sure you check your ponytail posture. Place your hands on your knees and you're gonna tip your pelvis forward and then backwards. Tip your pelvis forward as you breathe in and backwards as you breathe out. Forward, backwards, forward, backwards, one more time. Nice job. This exercise helps to stretch and strengthen the pelvic floor muscles and also improves mobility of your spine and your hips. So it's a great one to help keep your pelvic floor strong and healthy. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about the pelvic floor and different exercises you can do to keep it healthy. Talk to your occupational therapist and your physical therapist if you have any questions, or if you're interested in receiving a personalized home exercise program that has pelvic floor exercises that you can do after you leave the hospital to help keep your pelvic floor muscles strong and healthy.